you see all the different ornaments on the Christmas tree? These styrofoam ones here, these are all handmade by people in the church a long time ago. They're pretty cool. Each of them has different symbols for Christianity on them. Like this one. This one's kind of obvious. What's in here? A cross. The cross is for Jesus. Now, let's see. Up here, come up here. This one's a bit more difficult. Do you see what that is? A P and then an X. Now, those are actually Greek letters. Yes, it's right there too, and this is the nativity window. Now, you can actually see it better here than on the ornament. So these are actually Greek letters. The X is CH, and the P is an R. And what is CHR, the first letters of? Tatum? Christ. So you see this, it's called the P rho, and that stands for Christ. This is the first letters of Christ's name. And okay, here's another one of my favorites. IHS. That also stands for Christ. And that's Latin for Lord. So we have all these different symbols on the tree, and they all mean various things that go with Christ. So when you look at the tree, don't just think that it's some nice ornaments. Also realize too that all over it, it's decorated with many different symbols of Christ. And that's what this season and Christmas is about, is Christ coming to us. And that's why we celebrate, and that's why we decorate with all the different ways that we show Christ. So let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of Christ, that he comes to us and that he dwells with us and he is with us. We thank you for all the different ways that we are able to show that Christ is with us and in this world. We thank you for all that you have given us. Through that same Christ, our Lord. Amen. Thank you, guys. Brothers and sisters, grace to you and peace from God our Father, and the coming Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. There's something about seeing a big old tree stump in the woods. When you're walking, going for a hike, or out hunting, and you see that stump of a tree, a big one that lived a long life, it makes you wonder what happened. How long did that tree live? What finally took it down? What will take its place in that spot in the woods? I've always been fascinated by the stories that tree stumps can tell, whether it's looking at the rings each year in the tree's life, those rings in the woods showing the healthy years, the years that it was able to grow, and the bigger rings, thin rings showing years that were difficult, maybe an especially cold year, a dry spring and summer. Maybe it's the archaeologist in me wanting to know kind of the ancient stories that are hidden in that stump that's left behind. Knowing so much of what happened in that area can be seen in the rings and in that stump. These big old stumps are rich in the history of the tree and in the area, telling us the stories of its life and its history. They tell us of what was past, what once happened, the ancient history from where it was a seedling, sprouting up out of the ground, growing into a mighty strong tree, then to an old, weakening, creaky tree rotting out, about to collapse from its own weight, then finally the stump in the ground. It's no wonder then that Isaiah uses the stump imagery in our Old Testament reading, the young seedling of a nation coming out of the wilderness of it for Israel, to the glories of King David and Solomon. to the creaking old age of the split kingdom of Israel and Judea. And now, at the time he's writing, Israel and Judah are well the stump. God had sent the Babylonians to crush Israel after years of faithlessness. The rotten core, the result of Israel's turning from God, making them easy prey for those around it. God turned the once proud tree of Jesse into a stump. The rulers exiled, Israel a shell of what they once were. They are no longer the majestic tree growing strong. They've been felled and turned into the stump by God. The tree of Jesse is now there, laid bare, showing the history of God's people, the good years, the bad years. Well, and the Bible tells us more bad years than good years. The history of God's people on display, showing how they got to this point, how their rebelliousness led from the tree to the stump. But sometimes, seeing that stump laid bare, that isn't the end. Sometimes you'll see fresh growth coming up out of that stump. A new green shoot coming out of the dead and decaying tree. New life. When it seemed like all there was death and decay. Green. And that sea of brown and black. This is what Isaiah was pointing to this morning in our reading. A shoot shall come out of the stump of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. Isaiah is telling us about the one who will come, the one who will reclaim the greatness of Israel, God's chosen people, but in a way unlike any before him. Isaiah is talking about the coming Messiah, Jesus Christ. And he will open up salvation to all people who will inquire of his gloriousness. He shall bring about peace not only between men, but of all creation, so that the lion and calf, wolf and lamb will sleep together. Isaiah is proclaiming this coming of a new shoot, this new creation that will be the new tree to grow out of the stump of the old one, the new life out of the old. And this new creation comes to us in Jesus Christ. The one John also foretold the coming of. John 2 is proclaiming the coming of this Messiah, the shoot out of the stump of Jesse. In his wild honey and locust eating, camel hair and leather belt, wild man ways, John is proclaiming the same coming that Isaiah did. John tells us of the new growth, the harvesting that the Son of Man, Jesus Christ, will do. The one crying out in the wilderness is crying out that this new growth is coming. See, God has seen what happens when he doesn't love us. We cannot do it without him. If we were able to do it without him, the tree of Jesse would still be growing strong today. It would not have been turned into a stump. He seen what he had to do in the past, lay bare and fell the once proud tree and the people he loved, to banish his own chosen people from Israel, to condemn those he loves just because they were rebelling against him. While our rebelliousness, our wanting to wander from the God who has saved us and delivered us, hasn't really changed all that much in the 3,000 years since Isaiah, we have the one who comes and brings us back again and again. And that is the difference now. We have Jesus Christ. We have the one who forgives our sins again and again, who gives himself in body and blood, bread and wine that we'll eat and drink later today. The Father gives us this new growth in Christ, this new, great, and mighty tree of life growing out of the old one. The truth is, we need Christ. We need Christ to come to us. We need that bright new growth out of the old and dead. We need it in ourselves daily, hourly. We need the dying of our old sinful ways and the new life coming out. We need it in the church. We need it in the world. We have it in Jesus Christ, the shoot out of the stump of Jesse. We have this in Christ, the new tree of life, who came and saved us from sin, death, and the devil, and has trampled them under his feet. And this one tree, this new tree of life, the cross, will not fall down. We'll never see the stump of that tree. This new tree of life, it cannot be felled. We have this tree of life that will not die. It cannot be chopped down. The devil's tried and failed. We will not look at this stump one day, because the cross will continue to stand in glory forever and ever. Christ, the one who came and will come again, stands victorious. This new tree, this new dwelling which Isaiah talks about, it is glorious. He is the Savior of all the nations. The new tree of life, Jesus Christ, the only Son of God.